Hey guys, Andy here, and today we're gonna have a look at Blade and Sorcery Nomad. The Quest 2 edition of the beloved sandbox title is officially here, and I've been playing it for about a week now. It's been a blast playing it, and I'll even give you some pro tips at the end, so stick around. The game feels nearly identical to its PC VR counterpart, and there's probably some kind of black magic involved in making it run on the Quest 2, but who cares, right? It's awesome. The physics and mechanics of the game are designed to be fairly realistic, and most actions and interactions feel natural. Well, not that I actually know what it's like to do this to someone, but doing it in the game feels realistic, and the weight of weapons and resistance when hitting enemies is well balanced. Nomad currently has 5 maps, including the new procedurally generated dungeons mode, but we'll talk about that a bit later. The maps aren't too big and don't feel particularly alive, but you're not getting this game for the scenery, so let's talk about weapons and spells. You'll have access to a very generous roster of weapons, from swords and daggers to axes, spears, and even more exotic weapons such as the wrist blade, my absolute favorite weapon in the game so far, because it makes me feel like an absolute badass and gives me serious Assassin's Creed vibes. You'll also have 3 spells on each hand. The fireball can be thrown and controlled mid-air by moving your hand. It takes a bit to get the hang of, but is very satisfying once you do. The second spell is lightning, which can electrocute nearby enemies, stunning them briefly and leaving them open to additional attacks. The third one is a gravity/telekinesis ability, allowing you to grab, pull and push objects, weapons and enemies Jedi style. Also, if you select this spell on both hands, you can actually combine them into one big gravity bubble that lifts everyone and everything in it up in the air, giving you a chance to score some really badass kills. Oh, and you can also use the spells to enchant your weapons, granting them extra abilities like stun or armor penetration. And there's actually one other ability which I've definitely been using excessively because it's just so awesome, and that's slow motion. At the press of a button, time slows down and your enemies won't stand a chance. Combine slow-mo and a fire-enchanted pair of wrist blades, and pulling off moves like this will feel as easy as splitting an Oreo in two and licking the cream. In case it wasn't already obvious, the main selling point of the game is how fun it is to just mess around and experiment with the most creative ways to stab someone. Because make no mistake, Blade and Sorcery is incredibly violent and will have you questioning your sanity after 2 hours of doing unspeakable things to these poor NPCs. Anyway, Nomad also includes the latest dungeon update that Blade and Sorcery has recently received, Greenland, which adds procedurally generated dungeons and caves that you'll explore, finding enemies along the way instead of the classic waves in the other sandbox maps. I found that this mode gave me even more Assassin's Creed vibes due to the stealth element, because the enemies will hear you if you make too much noise, but move slowly and stick to the shadows, and no one needs to know you are even there. By now you might be thinking, well, the game is great and all, but what made it so successful and fun on PC were the mods. So can we add lightsabers, powers, skins, other weapons, etc.? Well, it won't have mod support today on launch day, but it's confirmed to be coming, and I'll definitely do a tutorial when it's available. The developers should be opening the game up for mods soon. Then it's up to the modders to actually port their creations to Nomad. But maybe we'll be lucky enough to fight Yoda with a lightsaber by Christmas. I promised you a pro tip for maximum fun, didn't I? Well, if you click the menu button on your left controller, there's actually a cheat list here where you can activate things like invincibility, infinite mana, and others. So if you want to activate Savage mode, there you go. Now it's your turn. What's the most disturbing thing you've ever done in VR? Let me know in the comments, and maybe check out this other video if you still have some free time. Cheers, guys!